Now, we talked a little bit about conflict, and I want to get into more specifics, maybe some ideas, instructions, rules that people can follow, things that should be included in the trust. So,
Mhm.
how how can clear trust instructions and maybe what type of instructions can how can they reduce the emotional burden on a trustee and head off those future family arguments?
Well, I can't say they're going to head off the future family arguments, but
Mhm,
I always say, I want to be able to put my head on my pillow at night and know I did the right thing. And I
mhm,
think that's what's important for my trustee is to do the right thing. And when you give, so you what you typically will see in the trust that we draft, there'll be a section that has guidelines to the trustee. And for example, for my kids, I want them to be fully employed. I don't want them to be, doing any type of drugs or breaking the laws. And I want them to be good fathers and good citizens in the community. I want them to take care of themselves health wise. So my trustee can say, "Listen, your mom and dad gave us this rules of the road. They told us they want you to work. They don't want you to sit in your apartment smoking dope waiting for your next trust check.
mhm.
So I'm not giving you this money from this trust, not because the money's not there. It's because you're not doing the desired behaviors that your parents set forth." So in a lot of trusts, I have a section that we have desired behaviors as to, what they are, what's important and what that trustee should consider before making distributions. And that to me is something that can be customized by my client as well. What I always tell my clients, I did the Moss Family Trust, but
Mhm.
this is not the Moss Family Trust. This is your trust. So if you want to add to those guidelines and rules of the road for your trustee, let me know. We can be more creative and try to make sure that it's your trust and it's your personal document.
What mistakes do you often see when people pick trustees? It's obvious to you they picked the wrong trustee. Is it simple things like birth order, guilt, or keeping things equal? Are there some other elements besides like it's not choosing someone who's not a citizen?
I typically think it's to keep things equal.
Yeah.
I just want to keep the peace, and keeping the peace can breach the peace sometimes.
Mhm.
When you have two kids that you love both, and one's a daydreamer, and one's going to do all the work, and one never shows up to the meetings and doesn't show up to the bank, and doesn't manage the proper money properly and spends it too much. And so I love the idea of keeping things equal. I want my kids, but I don't necessarily always agree with the term equal. I don't think anything is really equal in life. One son may have more abilities than the other son on certain things, and my other son may have more abilities than the other. So I think what I would rather say is let's cater to their strengths.
Okay.
And if their strength is being a trustee, then that's great. If it's not, then I always say I could have a one son who's really good with money and he's a great trustee, but he's a terribly not compassionate person. I don't want him as my healthcare surrogate. And my other son may not be good with money, but he's incredibly compassionate. He takes me to the doctors. He loves me. He calls me every day to ask me how I'm doing. So you have to again cater to their strengths as to what they offer.
Now you mentioned a diverse community. We got a lot of retirees. We got a lot of people from other countries. We got blended families, second marriages, vacation homes. Is there any consideration there that factors into trustee selection for Florida specific issues,
Well, vacation
properties,
home,
assets?
yeah, it depends. So again, in your trust, if you're a person that wants a heavy risk diversification as to real estate
Mhm.
properties, and that's what you believe in, and you want that trustee to continue to manage those houses, then you're going to have to choose someone that has some skill set to become a landlord. Basically, that's what you are as the trustee. Do you want them to hire out a bunch of management companies and who's going to be the insurer? So they have to be knowledgeable in the real estate market if you're going to require them to continue to own that real estate. Or if you're willing to say, okay, they can sell those properties after I die and put it into an investment account, it makes it easier. I think that's a different answer. But again, if I'm in California and I have 16 rental properties here in Florida that I'm managing and I'm refusing to use a management company, but I'm never checking on them, and I don't know whether the yards are being taken care of and whether the pools are taken care of and whether the people are doing what they're supposed to do in the houses, then that can create a lot of problems.
Maybe share a little bit more of what that conversation with you normally looks like, and what do you ask clients to think about in advance, other than the research that you were suggesting there?
Well, I think what I tell all my clients is when I apologize for personal questions
Mhm,
because as an attorney, I have to kind of dig in a little bit deeper about your son and your daughter and how do we protect them? Ultimately, that's what we're doing. We're looking to try to protect your loved one, whether it's a son, daughter, what beneficiary, whoever that is. And I have to ask them, what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses? And
mhm,
are they drug addicts? Are they spendthrifts? Do they have an abusive spouse? Are they going through a divorce? Do they have a foreclosure because they tried to do the right thing in 2007 and bought a house that now is upside down and they had to get out of it and they have a huge judgment against them? What issues do we have with your child?
mhm,
Secondly, how do your kids handle money? Are they good with it? Would you trust them right now to manage your money? And if not, if those red flags start showing, then we'll just start discussing, okay, well, here's some benefits of a corporate trustee. Here's what we talk about. Let's talk about your relationship with your bank. Who's your
mhm.
financial advisor? Let's talk about that trust department, what their fees would be at a corporate trustee, and talk about their choices and their options, and ultimately help them make the best decision that's appropriate for them.